Welcome everyone to Ojas Tattva's interview with experts. And today we'll be talking about pulse. And it's my pleasure and extremely being blessed to introduce Vaidya Manohar Palakurthi, a leading Maharishi AyurVeda expert, focusing on consciousness-based approach to health. And Vaidyaji has worked directly with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi for a little over 4 decades and has been practicing Maharishi Ayurveda, teaching Maharishi Nadi Vigyan and Maharishi AyurVeda to many students out here in the United States as well as in India and all over the world. So again, welcoming Vaidyaji. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Balakrishnan-ji. Vaidya Balakrishnan-ji.
Thank you. So we'll start with Nadi Vigyan, pulse diagnosis. So can you tell briefly to our audiences what is pulse diagnosis or Nadi Vigyan?
Beautiful. Nadi means, as we all know, it's like a nerve in modern language. But Nadi Vigyan, knowledge of that reverberation of consciousness, according to Ayurvedic knowledge. So, चेतना की स्पंदन वेदवाणी से शरीर का निर्माण, a reverberation of consciousness is speech of Ved, that which creates the whole physiology, structure of the physiology. So that reverberation of consciousness through pulse, that pulsation, feeling through 3 fingers, and then try to understanding the mind-body structure and function, that is called Nadi Vigyan.
Very good. Thank you, Vaidji. That's really helpful. I just wanted to get a little deeper into the pulse concept, like if you will explain to our audiences, how does this technique work? Like, yeah, we understand the reverberation, the consciousness of the person who's taking pulse and the pulse being taken. But technically, if you can explain a little bit that how the pulse taking works, that'll be great.
Beautiful. And before that, I will read a quote from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi ji. And pulse reading is not only a diagnosis of the balanced or imbalanced function of the physiology, as it is influenced by diet and daily routine, but it is also as indicator of the entire environmental influence on the individual. From the influence of the close environment of his home to the cosmic influence of the planets, stars, and galaxies. All these influences contribute to his balance or imbalanced functioning. How much he is able to live life according to the laws of nature that governs life on both levels, consciousness and physiology, and on all levels of his existence, individual and cosmic. This field of pulse reading is very complete field of knowledge of the health, which is unavailable in the field of modern medicine. Maharshi, from inaugurating Maharishi Vedic University, 1996, Maharshi explained, it is the reverberation of consciousness in the form of pulse reading is total knowledge of the individual structure and function and integrated with the cosmic structure and function and how it is influence on each other. And that integration is measured in the state of balance or imbalance. That is what is pulse.
Nice, Vaidyaji. Nice. And I know we keep hearing about 5 fundamental elements in Ayurveda. We talk about space, air, fire, water, and earth. And then, of course, combination of this forms the doshas. So if you would try to explain that, how I know we don't want to get into too much depth. This is very basic explanation, but how does that dosha imbalances can be detected at your fingertips, right? When you're taking a pulse, just for a common person to understand how powerful that can be, and try to bring up that imbalances just by reading pulse.
Beautiful. So everything is made of 5 elements. These 5 elements are space, air, fire, water, earth. Anything that which is manifest, direct experience is made of these 5 elements. In Ayurveda, Pancha Mahabhuta Siddhanta, the theory of 5 elements. These 5 elements in different ratios, it represents in all manifest elements. Because of that ratio, that combination, every manifest object appears to be unique in its character and function, including human physiology, is also made of these 5 elements, the fundamental building blocks of the human physiology. These 5 elements pairing together creates 3 functional principles in human physiology. They are the foundational principles, or functional principles, or bio principles, or basic principles of the functional physiology. These 3 principles are named Vata, Pitta, Kapha. As I mentioned to you all, these 5 elements pairing together creates these 3 principles. Vata means air and space. Pitta, fire and water. Kapha, earth and water. Predominant elements. Very important. Even though Vata, air and space, predominant elements, but also it is associated with fire, water, earth. Very minimum. Same thing, Pitta is fire and water predominant, but also associated with air and space and earth. Kapha, earth and water is predominant, but also associated with air and space and fire. Every manifest expression supposed to have these 5 elements. It is not possible any existence or any manifest material not having or missing one of these elements. So every manifest expression having these 3 principles with the combination of that 5 elements. So pulse diagnosis. The main purpose of pulse diagnosis, measuring the state of balance and imbalance in these 3 principles. And how to do this thing is keeping your 3 fingers, the root of the thumb, Kara Angushta Mule. That means the root of the thumb, keeping index, middle, and ring finger in the radial groove, and feel the pulse. Feeling the pulse means not the pulsation, it is the reverberation of consciousness. The consciousness seat is heart. the blood flows through heart. Blood has the special character is called intellect. It carries the intellect. It carries the intellect of the heart to the radial artery. Consciousness is the fundamental principle of life located in heart, but also all-pervading nature of the not only human physiology, in the whole universe. The consciousness is source of all structure and function of that physiology. When blood flows through heart, and it carries that intelligence of structure, intelligence of function, and moves to the radial artery, and keeping our three fingers, the physician's three fingers, enables to measure the state of balance and imbalance of all these different psychological, physiological functions in terms of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. This is how it is to be known through the radial artery pulsation. That pulsation is the reverberation of consciousness, and consciousness is samhita, and it has three principles. Those principles are called Rishi, Devata, Chandas. A Rishi is the knower, and Chandas is known, and the process of knowing is Devata. These three principles consider as Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So, through reading this Vata, Pitta, Kapha from the reverberation of consciousness in the form of radial artery pulsation, the physician will marvel the technique of reading the pulse, understanding the mind-body intelligence.
Very nice, Vaidya. Thank you so much for that explanation. That helps a lot. So moving on, so I understand that, yes, how do you detect imbalance by reading that reverberation of consciousness in terms of those three doshas, which we just spoke about, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, right, relating to Rishi, Devta, and Chandas. So that's great. And then you can tell if the person is balanced or there is some imbalance. Now, taking this question further, I have heard that pulse experts like you and others are able to detect that certain organs are impacted by reading the pulse. I know it's a little in depth, but it is very mesmerizing to know that, or for me, it's very surprising. How can one tell from a pulse that, hey, this client of ours is coming with some chronic conditions or some organ which is needs some attention? So if you can just throw a little bit light on that, that will give our audience more insight into how powerful this pulse technique or Nadi Vigyan is. And this is something we are talking 5,000 years back, right? So not in modern medicine, modern level, we know there are devices, there are a lot of things, but we are talking just three fingers, right? And your consciousness, and you are able to detect. So viewers would definitely love to know a little bit on that, how you are able to detect imbalances at organ level.
Beautiful. So, the nature of consciousness, Atmajnanam Param Jyoti, the knowledge of consciousness is illuminating light. It is existence. This is the all-pervading structure. Everywhere consciousness there. And it is your awareness to aware of it. That is called self-referral. Self-referral is the curving back to yourself. The consciousness become pure consciousness. This is what is pulse reading. When you are reading the reverberation of radial artery, when you are able to understanding the structure and function of the consciousness. The consciousness become physiology. Consciousness is physiology. The physiology associated with mind and body. So when you are reading the reverberation of consciousness, you are reading the function of the mind and body of the client. First, I will explain to you the benefits of self-pulse reading or reading of the pulse of the client. Number one is detection of imbalances at an early stage. That's number one benefit. A physician able to understand. Number two, detecting the cause of imbalance. Number three, maintaining health and restoring balance by enlivening the body's inner intelligence, that's consciousness. Very important. These three benefits, fundamentally, when a physician practicing the pulse, he will understand for prevention, detecting imbalance at an early stage. And second one is by knowing the cause of imbalance, and he can apply the therapeutic applications, procedures to restore balance. While practicing the pulse, this is number three. The primary requisite for a physician is state of being. Every time he is practicing pulse, curving back to self, experiencing the state of being is the source of wellness. So physician feels more refined state of consciousness, more higher states of consciousness, and more higher states of health, and sustain that wholeness of life. So these are the three primary benefits of reading the pulse. Answer to your question, this reverberation of consciousness found in layers. Life is found in layers. Mind is found in layers. Para Pashyanti Madhyama Baikari. Para level is absolute, intellect, sensory, and more expressed gross levels. The same way, consciousness, very subtle, more expressed, more expressed, more expressed, more expressed. And then it comes into the state of physiological. That's why life is found in layers, same as consciousness also, to be known in different layers of the physiology. The surface pulse, deep pulse, subdosha pulse, dhatu pulse. There are 4 levels of the pulse. And how to feel ojas, how to feel agni, all these different layers studied in Maharishi Nadi Vigyan. Understanding not only Vata Pitta Kaphas, how they are connected to the different levels of the function of the physiology through different srotas and different organs by the function of the metabolic fire, Jatara Agni, to be understood by the pulse reading. The surface level will help you understand all the doshas, gati, movement, sthiti, condition, ama, whether it is associated or not, like that. And different levels of pulse gives you different knowledge of the physiology.
Very nice.
Dhatu pulse will give all the structural principles of the physiology. The 7 tissues, rasa, rakta, mamsa, meda, asti, majja, shukra. How to understand the state of function, the quantity and the quality of each dhatu to be known through dhatu pulse reading. Subdosha pulse will give you understanding of different specific functions of doshas. Doshas are all pervading all over the physiology, but mainly located in 15 places. Each dosha has 5 divisions, and if these 5 divisions are located in different places, the subdosha pulse will explain how to locate, how to understand, how to measure that state of balance and imbalance of these subdoshas. Somewhat they are directly connected or indirectly connected to the different organs of the physiology. So that the practitioner will gain the knowledge of not only structure and function, and also their quality and their state of purity to be known by reading the pulse.
Very nice. There was much depth, a lot of depth in that. Yeah. So I think we are almost at the end of the session. One last question I have is, um, can someone learn pulse? I mean, what are the prerequisite? I know there is a lot of technical terms we discussed, like doshas, subdoshas, dhatus are like tissues. So definitely some background is needed, I feel, but would like to hear from you. What would it take for anyone, the prerequisite to learn pulse from an expert like you or someone else who can teach pulse diagnosis?
Beautiful, beautiful question. And it's very important. Nadi Vigyan is supposed to be a very integral and very important part of the Ayurveda knowledge of life. Unfortunately, India went through foreign rule and it is forgotten knowledge. And currently in India, not many Vaidyas are practicing the pulse. As soon as we talk about the pulse, oh, can you take my pulse? And can you tell me what is the disease and where is the disease? And all these types of questions comes. That is definitely to be known by the pulse reading with lots of experience. But you need to continuously practice and then continuously experience in different pulses and different patterns and different conditions that will enliven the physician's ability to understand the knowledge of the pulse and diagnosing the diseases. But don't jump into that right away. What is important? As I mentioned, the 3 important benefits. Number 1, detection of imbalances at the early stage. Very important for therapeutic approach. The whole purpose of Ayurveda is prevention. That's the purpose of Ayurveda. How to preserve the health of healthy people. And this is going to happen only through pulse diagnosis. The second one is detecting the cause of imbalance. Nidana parivarjanam chikitsa. If you know the cause, and then it's very easy to treat the condition. So pulse diagnosis is excellent platform for a physician to understand what is the cause. For example, somebody complaining very much dryness in the joints, and how to understand that. Vata aggravation. How to experience that aggravation of Vata in the pulse. How Vata, when Vata increased, how it appears in the pulse. Such type of things. Many, many, many things to be understood. And so that this is because of this cracking joint in the, cracking sounds in the joints, because of there's too much Vata in the Sleshaka Kapha. Sleshaka Kapha is supposed to give lubrication in the joints. But accumulation of that Vata in that particular specific subdosha of Kapha can cause that cracking sounds in the joints. Like that, many things, very important principles for a Ayurveda practitioner to understand, and how to correct those imbalance through behavior, routine, diet, and how to integrate with the environment. All these principles, and then applying some supplements, herbal supplements, panchakarma therapies for everything. The pulse diagnosis is very important. Ama nirama conditions. How to understand how much blockage within the physiology, within the functions, within the srotas, within the dhatus, within the doshas, is all to be known through the pulse diagnosis. So that's why don't jump into can we see the disease by reading the pulse? Yes, it is all possible. It is all your desire and your openness to learn and how to understand. You see, the pulse diagnosis is not only roga pariksha, it also rogi pariksha. It involves both examination of the client, examination of disease, and how this client is interacting with this disease also to be known through the pulse diagnosis.
Sure.
That's why I definitely suggest every physician should learn. Not only Ayurvedic physicians, I have taught many thousands of physicians all over USA, all over the world. They are very thrilled and surprised to understand the principles of Nadi Vigyan, how to apply in their therapeutic practice,
Very nice. So
clinical practice.
definitely there is a lot of prerequisite, but
Not only that, Ayurveda says Vishagananda Dayani, Nadi Vigyan, practicing of Nadi Vigyan, practicing, brings the bliss to the physician, Vishagananda Dayani. So that's why very important for physicians to practice Nadi Vigyan. Consciousness is aware of the consciousness, and it's a structure in the mind body to aware the state of balance and imbalance, will bring the consciousness of physician open to understand and also help the client. That's why it's very important. Everyone should learn, including mothers at home. Ordinary people, they don't need to be physicians or healers or anything. Who is the best healer? The mother at home is the best healer. Every day morning when she wakes up, she takes the pulse of all family members and then see how that state of balance and imbalance and what to apply, the behavior, the diet and routine, and advising them through using some spices, diet, very beneficial. So every mother should learn, every health profession should learn, everybody should learn.
Okay, Vaidji, thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights into pulse diagnosis. I know it's very encouraging to all our viewers, including me. I'm a student of yours, and I've learned from Maharishi International University, my Ayurveda practicing, and I practice pulse diagnosis, not daily basis, but at least I try to do it. So like you said, it's very beneficial. So I'm sure viewers, we have given some insight into this pulse diagnosis, and hoping that their curiosity sparks a little bit more, whatever they're searching for. How do they learn pulse diagnosis, or if they have to sign up for some Ayurveda courses. So with that, I really thank you, Vaidji. Jai Gurudev.
Beautiful, Balakrishnaji. All your service to Ayurveda, being a student of Ayurveda, it inspired you to do to help the world, and because heaven on earth and disease-free society is our Maharshi's, slogan to the world. So you become a part of it and then try to help through the consciousness-based approach to health through Ojas Sattva. Excellent job, and I really wish, and also I will invite all the physicians all over the world, modern physicians and Ayurvedic physicians, take part of his offer and then help the world through with a beautiful knowledge. And good luck and great work, and explore more and bring more and more top people and to speak about consciousness-based approach to health. And congratulations.
Thank you, Vaidya. Thank you.
Take it.